The Locker Room, with all the sports news you need, live.
Hello, very good evening to you, and welcome to the midweek edition of the Locker Room on Independence Live. We thought we would do our show tonight because it's been a full week. It's been a full week of Premiership action, and I think the last time we did the show on Sunday, Rangers has got a new caretaker manager. I'm sure we'll get into that as well, and I'm sure that other fans will be disappointed tonight. Sorry, Robbie. You'll be disappointed as well. So we'll get into the games in more detail between now in the back of 11 o'clock. Joined tonight, as always, by my sidekick, Regan Stevens and Robbie Collins. How about you guys?
Not bad. I was feeling a lot better before the game kicked off. Feeling definitely a lot better at half time, but there's still a wee bit of positivity after the weekend, especially with the big result at Ibrox.
Yeah, you know
Hi,
what?
Michael. I'm doing well. Thanks. I enjoyed that game. I thought it was thought Commander played well first half. Rangers kind of deal with set pieces again as we see all season, but fair play to Barry Ferguson. I mean, he got some response here.
Yeah, I was going to say Reagan a game of two halves as well because Kilmarnock started the game off well and
They did.
Rangers came back and kicked to the game. But yeah,
Yep.
I mean we'll get into it, guys. We'll be here until the back of 11. As I say, get your comments coming on Facebook, and we're on X, and we're on Instagram as well, and Twitch. So we're all over the place. So a bit like me, all over the place. Get your comments coming in, and we'll be here to talk you through the games. And don't forget, there was a game last night in Glasgow. Celtic 5, Aberdeen 1. We will talk about that very soon indeed. So Reagan, let's get into it then. The 8 o'clock game at Rugby Park tonight between Kilmarnock and Rangers. If you've just tuned in and you've been out for a hill walk, I don't know why I said that for, because it's getting dark outside actually. Kilmarnock 2, Rangers 4. Reagan, Rangers got off, Kilmarnock got off to a perfect start in this game.
Yeah, I mean, they started really well. They were creating chances before they scored as well. And you think Derek McInnes, he couldn't have asked for a better start to go 1-0 up straight away from a set play. That's perfect. Perfect start from the Rugby Park team. But yeah, and then it gets even worse for Rangers. They go 2-0 down. Obviously, they check Brad lines to make sure that it's onside from VAR, but and no handball as well. But I mean, it's a worst possible start for Barry, but the best possible start for the Rugby Park home team.
Yeah, I mean, I know that you were watching the Hearts and St Mirren game coming in, Robbie, as we'll get on to it in a minute. But I mean, Kilmarnock, before they scored the opening goal, they had a few chances.
Yeah, Kilmarnock the whole first half were very good. I did manage to see glimpses of the game. For what I saw, they looked very in control of the game. I think the biggest problem for Rangers was picking the same team. Basically, they went out against St Mirren. I think that was Barry's biggest problem. You know, that a lot of people thought, even before the game kicked off, that the Rangers team sheet would be completely different. I thought it would be as well. You know, if Ferguson's going to implement his ideas until the end of the season, at least, you know, drop the big players that people have been calling it for the last few weeks. So I'm surprised the team sheet stayed relatively similar to it was on Saturday. But no, look, Kilmarnock completely controlled the game before they scored, and even when they did score, I mean, Reagan, I'm sure you'd agree. I mean, Kilmarnock could have went on and scored 4 or 5 after about half an hour in that game.
Yeah, I mean, they were great, Robbie. They were pressing forward. They were creating chances. It was a perfect start for them, and yeah, I mean, they played really well first half. But you've got to say as well, Robbie, fair play to Barry Ferguson Rangers for digging in there.
Aye, absolutely amazing. At half time, I was like, I sort of thought Kilmarnock would be able to hold that one out, but whatever team talk must have happened in that change room must have worked because it looked like a completely different Rangers team. I mean, a shout out to the Omanda for that second half. I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. I thought he ran Kilmarnock right off of the pitch for most of the second half. So full credit to Rangers for being able to dig in and get that win because I think for Barry and the whole Rangers team, it was really needed.
And I think,
Yeah, no,
Michael, I just want to make the point as well that I feel that if that's a come on Rangers team, Robbie, that Rangers team don't come back. So it's not, people might say to me, oh, well, that's pie in the sky stuff. Well, I don't think it's pie in the sky because Rangers were complete and utterly out of the game. And I think, like as Robbie said there, Barry's got into them. Diamande in the second half was great. He put a great ball through Pedrami as well for that goal. So I think that Barry Ferguson has got into the players and it's worked. You've got to say fair play to Barry and the coaching staff as well for that.
I mean, there's your answer, Robert. Like all the talk was before the game about do you think it'll be the same Rangers team it turns up, or do you think it'll be a case of Barry Ferguson getting right into them as well? But I mean, it says to me going away from home, 1-4-2 away from home, coming down from 2-0 down. I think the answer was Philip come on that he wasn't getting a tune out the team and it showed tonight.
Yeah, I'd agree with Ega. I think if that was a fully Clermont Rangers team, I don't think they won that game. I just don't think it was good enough at all. I mean, you noticed a few changes. I thought Rangers' tempo was a lot higher than it was under Philippe Clermont. It wasn't all this backward stuff and side to side all the time. There was actual intent to try and get forward. But I thought Rangers, especially with the way the second half went, I thought they fully deserved that one. I think that's a credit not just to Barry, but to the rest of the backroom staff as well. Like Alan McGregor, who, he's not had vast experience of coaching, but he's a guy that can go into that change room and knows how to get the players up for it. So I'm sure at half time, he was probably screaming his head off as Alan McGregor usually is. So I can full credit to the full backroom team.
Yeah, no, definitely, and but I think you were right, Reagan, because if it was 2-0, Rangers might have get beat a bit heavily or got points at Rugby Park if Philip come on with Skull and Chargs, and I think that's your answer there. I think that was Clemont's, because he wouldn't have made the changes early on in the game, and I think that changed the game for Rangers tonight. But I mean, I wanted to come back to Rangers in a minute, and I mean, come out would be disappointed, Reagan, after getting beat 4-2, 2-0 up in the first 20 minutes.
Definitely, because as Robbie said, they were looking to score 3 or 4 goals after that, and they would have been expected to go on there and settle themselves in the game. But yeah, I mean, they'd be ultimately disappointed because they still created a lot of chances where they felt they could hurt Rangers. But it's again, it's like Chris Sutton said on the telly, every time that Rangers or Celtic go to Kilmarnock, you always expect a tough match. That's what Derek McInnes always does. No matter who he's playing, it's always a tough game. So you've got to say that he always gets his team up for it. And I think the Kilmarnock players showed that they will push for top 6, but ultimately I think they'll come up short and we'll get on to because there was a few big performances from the Edinburgh teams tonight as well. So I think in terms of Kilmarnock, I think it's been a decent season. I don't think it's been a great season so far for them, but this is one to build on.
Let's speak about the goals, Robbie. I think you saw the goals as well when you had both eyes and 2 games at the one time. Who says men can't multitask? Grant, Ryan scored the 2 goal for Kamal, but I think the pick of the goal was the second goal, Robbie. That was a cracker.
Yeah, a very, very nice goal for Brad Lyons. I thought the first one as well. I thought it was brilliant set piece play for Kelly. A really good header for Brown. Shrug his man up. I can't remember who it was. It might have been, I think it was Raskin maybe. He shrugged off the ball. Gives himself an open header. A very nice finish. But Brad Lyons, wow. I mean, It's, I sort of mentioned you can see this, the style, they changed the style, in Barry Ferguson's way, when Rangers went in attack, but it felt a lot like Philippe Clement in defence at points. I thought the way Rangers gave the ball away was very deep. Gave Kilmarnock a breakaway. I think it ended up being a 3-on-1 at some point, but Lyons goes himself. It's a very, very calm and composed finish. Left Butland really with no chance, to be honest.
Do you think that in terms of it's kind of ifs, buts and maybes now, Regan, when the games are finished, but do you think the programme Kilmarnock had was they scored those 2 goals too early in the game?
I wouldn't say they scored too early. I think maybe that kind of woke up Rangers a little bit. You know that bit where they say you kind of poke the bear? I think they kind of poked the bear, kind of poked the beast, where Rangers got a bit maybe angry and they thought, right, we'll just show up and there. But as Barry Ferguson said yesterday, I listened to his presser, and he said that any game in Scotland he knows is tough. He would have known that Derek McInnes is a very experienced manager. He's a very experienced manager in terms of how to beat Rangers, how to beat Celtic. So, but Barry Ferguson would have known full well just what with the story Kilmarnock. And like you said earlier, Michael, I mean, to make those changes early, to take off Ngiala and bring on Ridvan, that was a big change to make. But yeah, because it was well needed, because as Robbie will tell you, Ngiala was part of the reason that St Mirren won on Saturday, because I don't know what he's doing for the 2 goals, but fair play to St Mirren on Saturday as well, because I thought they were great.
Yeah, and Ngiala was a big help for us. But I mean, just on your question, Michael, I mean, you look at chances, it's just, I think it's more than the chances that Kilmarnock miss. You look at the one, I think it was Danny Armstrong, cuts in the right-hand side, plays an open net to Marley Watkins. All he needs to do is finish it, and he sends it basically out for a Rangers throw-in. Near enough, it's chances like that where you could argue Armstrong might have been offside. Obviously, it would have been checked, but it's chances like that you can't miss it when you're playing teams like Rangers or Celtic or Aberdeen and stuff like that. So I think it's more just Kilmarnock missing really big chances. But I do agree with Reagan that taking Ngiala off that early was a very brave decision. I think it's one that had to be made. I mean, look, Ngiala's a young player. He's still got a lot of developing to do. But the last few games have shown that maybe you need somebody else in there for the now. Maybe he needs to be on the bench, being that backup that can come on and try and secure the win, if it's the last 15-20 minutes of a really tight game. So I think Ngiala might need a wee break at the first team, because it might just not be working for him.
And also, Reagan, I was going to say it's a big call for Barry Ferguson in the first game to hook is that off. But I mean, it was shown on Saturday as Robin Moles against St Mirren,
Yeah, the guys are clear with this, Robbie. I mean, he's not physical enough. He probably needs to get up to the physical demands of Scottish football and what it offers, because I thought people like Olusanya, Mandaron had him in the back pocket. Mandaron's probably got him in his back pocket right now, and that's probably why he got took off.
Yeah, I mean, Ngiala, I mean, it's like looking at Robin properly earlier in the season. If you look at the last time we played them at Ibrox, I mean, Olusanya run proper wild. I mean, I think now, though, proper sort of became that experienced guy at the back. He's a wee bit more physical. And it seems to be they've got a new defender in Ngiala that's the exact same boat. It comes up against these big physical and small, fast strikers, and it doesn't really know what to do against them.
Yeah, I think you're right, Robbie, and I think that'll probably be a thing for Barry in terms of how. I think his first home game's against Motherwell, if I'm not mistaken, Michael, on Saturday. And I think he'll probably think to himself, do I really trust Ngiala to go up against the Motherwell forward line? Because that, is it Papadopoulos, whatever his name is, I know he's fit again, and Tony Moore. These guys are physical, Robbie, so I don't know if he'll maybe say, right, well, try and get someone else in the centre back. I don't know if John Silver maybe would be fit, Leon Balogun or something, but I think that's probably, I'm not going to say it's the end for Ngiala, but I think that'll probably push him further down the pecking order, Robbie.
Yeah, I agree. I think Nsiala will be pushed in the pecking order. Maybe, I mean, it depends how the situation goes next season, but you might even see him go on loan at some point. I think your point about, Balogun, Suter, if Suter's fit, he goes straight into the lineup. There's no doubt about that. He's probably the best defender Rangers have got right now. But you're right, against such a physical Motherwell side, players like Stamatolopoulos and Tony Watt up front, they cause you problems. I mean, Watt coming on off the bench with about half an hour to go can cause you so many problems. So it'll be interesting to see what the back two is. If he picks Nsiala again, I'd really worry for Rangers in that game, because any of the two big defenders going up against him, they're going to have a field day with him. And it's no disrespect to Nsiala. I'm sure he's got qualities there. Maybe he's just not shown them yet, and maybe he's just too inexperienced to show them yet. But again, that's how I viewed Proper last year. I thought he was too inexperienced, unphysical enough to take on some of these defenders, and now he looks like he's a staple in Rangers defence.
Yeah, I think that's.
Go on, Regan.
No, I'm just going to say, I think that's right, Robin. It'll be interesting to see what Barry says after the match, because it's a big call to make your first match as a manager, but it's these big calls that he's proven is spot on. Because, as I said earlier, Michael, I feel like if that's a Philippe Clement Rangers team, I don't think they'd react as well. I don't think he takes Nsiala off either. I think he keeps them on the park, and Rangers go on to lose that game. But it goes back to what a point that I was talking to you about yesterday, Michael, in terms of it brings the feel good factor back to Rangers as well. Because you see at the end, they're all singing Barry Ferguson's name, the players are jumping around, and the fans are happy. So even though Rangers are 13 points behind with the 9 games to go, and they're not going to win the title, that can only bring a positive feel good for Rangers fans at the moment.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I was going to say to Robbie as well, I've heard the past few days from Rangers fans and some colleagues in the kind of Google media, as I used to, as we work in as well. Philip Clement was very stubborn, Robbie, in terms of its history in Norway.
Yeah, Clement never really changed his way, whether it was in the league or in Europe or in the cups. I feel like that's been the story of the last few Rangers managers. You look at the Gios, you look at Michael Beale, you look at Philippe Clement. They're all very stubborn, especially the sort of European managers. The likes of Clement and Gio. They are very stubborn managers. They like to stick to their rise. It's why they have so much success, in their own respective places. Clement, his last job, that's why he was very successful. I think it was in France, I can't remember. I think that is why he was so successful, because, that style can work over there. But Scottish football's a different game. You need to be able to adapt. It's what Brendan Rodgers does so well at Celtic. That's the prime example. You look at how Rodgers can take that Celtic team against, 1 week he's playing in a Champions League game against Bayern Munich, he knows how to adapt to that type of game. Then, obviously it didn't quite work out against Hibs, but you look at other games where they've come off the back of Europe and kept going on to win. They know how to adapt to these games, against the likes of Dundee and us and stuff like that. I think that's why Rodgers has so much success. And I think that's why, up until the end of the season, I don't think Ferguson will lose many games. I think Ferguson's one that, yes, he lacks experience in, the sort of big two leagues. He's never managed above League One, so it's a big step. But he brings that Scottish knowledge that he knows how to put a team together to try and break teams like Kilmarnock down and all that sort of stuff. So I think it'll be a good reign for Ferguson.
What I particularly like about what he's done, Robbie, is that if people are comparing it to Neil Lennon and Mialby and Thompson, but the big thing for me, Robbie, is he's brought in three really good people. You brought in Billy Dodds that got Inverness to a Scottish Cup final on a low budget. He's brought in Neil, who had a great track record at Dundee, done really well with Dundee, a very good coach, and he's brought in Alan McGregor as a goalkeeping coach. And you need to remember that Alan McGregor has worked with Jack Butland before. He's also won titles, so I think he's brought in a really good combination of people.
Yeah, and it's people that know Rangers Football Club, that's been the problem, no disrespect to Giovanni Van Bronckhorst or Philippe Clement. I mean, Gio knew the club a bit more, but you look at a guy like Philippe Clement, it felt like he didn't truly get it, and I think a lot of fans said that, he didn't truly get what it meant to be a Rangers manager or get players that can play with Rangers. He just didn't have that feeling. Barry Ferguson, McGregor, Neil and stuff, they all know how to, what it's like to play with Rangers and what you need to be able to play with Rangers. So it's exciting to see what they can do till the end of the season. Do I think Barry will get a job permanently? Probably not. I think it depends. I don't think that's Rangers fans' first choice. There's
I
an
think
obvious
there's a case, Robbie. See, the more I think about it, though, I think there's a case where they actually bite.
Yeah,
Because
I think so.
because I look at it and I go, he's built these coaches around him where it's not as if he's coming in and he's going, right, I'm going to be the coach, and he's coming in like the Gerrard figure, where he's kind of taking the back seat. He's the kind of motivational speaker. He's sort of like Ange Postecoglou when he was at Celtic. He does none of the coaching. All he does is speeches and tells the players what he wants them to do. But that's what Ange Postecoglou does, and that's what people like Neil Lennon do. They don't do coaching, but they get really good coaches in there that are very good at their job, and I think he's got a really good mix there.
Yeah, and it's why you've seen Gerrard work at Rangers. It's a brilliant system, and I think you're right. Barry Ferguson, if he'd done really well in this reign, could well go on and get the job full time with his coaching team. But you look at guys like Steven Gerrard and Sean Dyche, names that are getting flung around, and let's be honest, if you were to ask any Rangers fan, they're probably going to opt to take Gerrard back or try and go in for a Sean Dyche before a Barry Ferguson. But I do agree that if this reign goes well, it could well be Ferguson come the end of the season.
So Rangers got the ball going, the game going by Cherney. I mean, I think he'll be a big loss for Rangers next season. Rangers would need to hang on to him, or else break the bank account to get him in. He's a big time player for Rangers, but also Reagan. We saw Dessers getting 2 goals. We saw Dessers getting a double, and I know we speak about him on the show of the week, that he gets into positions and misses chances. In fact, he could have got a hat trick on there, the 4 goals tonight in the game. But as I keep saying to you and Andy in the show, yes, sometimes you can be a bit frustrated by him, but I mean that would be worse if he doesn't get into these kind of like positions.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have a different view on Dessers. People can say he misses a lot of chances, but he still scores a lot of goals in the Scottish football context. He still scores like 15, 20 goals a season. What? And I get he should be scoring that as a Rangers striker, but he still contributes. He's still good for a second choice striker. He's still good for there. And if you ask Robbie or you ask Graham or you ask Alistair, they would still take him. And also, I say this with Dyson Maeda, I said it with Yogo. These guys are at Scottish these guys are playing in Scottish football for a reason. Like, as I always say, Mohamed Salah and Erling Haaland are never going to be in Scotland. Scottish football's got a level, and these guys like Dessers are still a decent level for Scottish football, Robbie.
Aye, Dessers is a very good player for this level. Would I take him? I think Dessers is a weird one. I think it comes down to the amount of chances Rangers will get a game. Dessers is more inclined to score. Let's just say theoretically he gets 10 chances in a game, he's likely to score at least 2 or 3 goals. Whereas with a team like St Mirren, you're not really going to get that many chances. And I think that's Rangers' biggest problem. That yes, he is scoring the goals, and I do agree with you, Reagan. He is goal contributing to the game, but he is helping Rangers. But I think that's why he's at Rangers, because he can contribute in a team like that. Whereas I think if you bring him down to a lower level, I think you might probably see him struggle a bit more, just because you're not getting as many chances a game. I don't know if he's as clinical as maybe a Shankland at Hearts. Shankland can take a lot of chances. Maybe not shown it this season, but he can. But Dessers at Rangers, he's fantastic. Look, his goal ratio speaks for itself, and his record is fantastic for Rangers, who, let's be honest, it's not the same Rangers as if you're putting Alfredo Morelos when Rangers are actually on top of the world in there. It is such a different team. So I think this is still doing well.
There we go then. Before we move on to the rest of the games, Robbie, last word on this one. Disappointed for Kilmarnock and Derek McInnes at home 2-0 up and coming out 4-2 defeated, but and also Barry Ferguson, the feel good fact is back on Monday in terms of he's a Rangers legend, and they brought on a few legends as well. Tonight it's all about getting the 3 points, but I'm sure if you spoke to Barry Ferguson now, he would say, yeah, good win, but let's focus on the game on Saturday now against Motherwell and try and build up a bit of momentum before they go to Celtic Park in a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, for Kilmarnock, it would have been such a good win. You look at Ross County and Dundee dropping points, no one in their game. It really would have opened it up for Kilmarnock to leapfrog ahead of Ross County in particular and get a few points more away for Dundee. Because if you look at the table now, St Johnstone are starting to creep up in these teams. It's getting really, really close to that sort of bottom four. So Derek McInnes will be disappointed, that they couldn't go and win that game. If, you go 2-0 up in a game and you have that many chances, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to go and win it. But they never, so it's disappointing for them. But for Rangers, I agree with you, Michael. If you were to ask Barry Ferguson, he'd be already focused on Motherwell on Saturday, fully focused on that game. I think it'd be the first to admit that there's probably things that Rangers need to work on before that game. I don't think it was the perfect package for Rangers in this game, but I think they were far from perfect. But they got the 3 points. That's all that matters. That's all that will matter between now and the rest of the season. They just need to keep winning, no matter if Celtic drop any more points between now and the end of the season or not. They need to go out with a bang. Obviously, they need to keep the confidence up before this Europa League clash within the matches. So every 3 points and every win's really important for Rangers.
And talking about Fenerbahce, we'll be on for that game as well next week. Quarter to five we'll be on to build up to the 5:45 game in Turkey, and then the next week at Ibrox, same again. We will be here for the big games. Big games, big show, Reagan. That's what we like to cover. And another big game last night. The only game last night, Celtic 5, Aberdeen 1. And I suppose, Reagan, you were at the game, and I suppose a bit like Kilmarnock tonight, the only difference is Kilmarnock took their chances tonight, but Aberdeen scattered well last night.
Aberdeen should have scored 2 or 3 last night. They played really well. I thought they created a lot, and as Jimmy said in his press conference, they just kind of lacked that edge and they lacked that know-how, that nous of trying to get through a game at Celtic Park. I thought they played well in patches, and I feel like Celtic played okay, but when you say it was a 5-goal match, I thought Aberdeen played their part, Robbie.
I'd agree. This was not a 5-1 result to Celtic. I thought Celtic got let off the hook very early on. I thought there was a good couple of chances for Aberdeen, but look, I feel like, Reagan, I think you'd agree that all that was important in this game was Celtic picked up the 3 points here. After such a disappointing performance against Hibs, Celtic needed the 3 points here. And actually, Reagan, I wanted to ask you a question, if that's all right. I was listening to another show and someone asked about Daisa Maeda and obviously how important he is to Celtic. The guy made a point that Daisa Maeda is probably the only guy in Celtic right now that you could take out the team and you couldn't replace him with anybody. That's how good he's been this season.
Yeah. Robbie, I think there's 2 obvious people for Player of the Year at the moment, and I think if I was to vote as part of the media or as a player, then I would vote for Dyson Maeda. I think he's been great. I think no disrespect to Ange Postecoglou, but I think Brendan Rodgers has took someone like Dyson Maeda to a brand new level, Michael, because you guys remember watching Dyson Maeda about 2 or 3 years ago. He would miss chances. You see that one last night? That was a chance 2 or 3 years ago that he would have missed. But he took out his stride and he stepped up to the plate, Robbie. And I think he stepped up to the plate in the fact that he's helped out the Celtic board, because there was a lot of discontent, Robbie, when Celtic get rid of Kyogo, but he's really stepped up.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's first initial reaction when Kyogo left was, all right, let's see what Ida can do. But I think people forget how good Maeda is. You know, you're right. If you're watching him, you know, I'd say even his minimum is 1 season ago, never mind, you know, 2 or 3. I think he misses a lot of the chances in that game. I think he's just grown so much. And I think confidence plays a big part in that as well. You know, Dyson Maeda will not be blind to the reaction that he's seen online. You know, the Celtic fans absolutely love him the same way they love Kyogo. It's after every game, you know, it's how good he is, and all the fans are raving and ranting about him. So Maeda deserves all the plaudits because he's a fantastic football player to watch. I love watching him anytime I can. The way, you know, not even just on the ball, no he's finishing, but the way he moves off the ball as well. He causes such a handful for defenders, and he done it at Aberdeen last night. I mean, you've said it, look, having Jota and Quinn as your 2 wingers, you know, Maeda, unfortunately for him, was never going to fit it back into that, you know, natural sort of winger spot, I'd call it, for him. But, you know, Brendan Rodgers has been brave enough to go, look, we're going to shift you up top where, you know, you need to fill in the role of it. You know, we're going to be missing with Kyogo here. And he's took it right in his stride, as you said. He's firing in goals left, right and centre, so I can only really see it continuing between now and the end of the season.
I think the other big person for me this season, Michael, as well, has been Alistair Johnson.
Yep.
Alistair Johnson, Michael.
Yeah, no, it's been looking the line well for Celtic, Regan.
Yeah, I mean, I think Alistair Johnson's somebody that the bigger clubs in Europe will be looking at, because he was really good in Europe against RB Leipzig, and he's been outstanding in terms of his defensive work. I know it probably gets overlooked sometimes because, as you always say on a Friday, Michael, Celtic are playing against 10 part buses and that. But I think Alistair Johnson's been great at what he's doing as well. Even that cross that he put in for Dyson Maeda's 5th goal last night, I thought he was great overall. And I know you mentioned it to me earlier about Arne Engels. He's really paying back that price tag, Robbie.
Aye, Engels. You know what? Engels was one that received a lot of criticism when he first joined Celtic after the first couple of games. People were all over him on social media. You know, he's no good enough. He's no this. People judge these days players on price tags too much. I'm sorry, but you know, it's no Engels' fault that Celtic decided to splash all that money on him. He's a quality player, he is. It doesn't matter, you know. I feel like in this day and age, we need to stop looking at price tags and stop taking into consideration how much you might have paid for Engels or Jota. You know, go and let them shine. Go and show their quality. You know, you can't judge a player after a price tag. It's one of the most frustrating things about football for me. But I think Engels has been fantastic so far for Celtic.
Yeah, I mean, talk about Aberdeen for a minute or two, Regan. I mean, if they took the chances, I think it would have been a different game as well. But, you know, as I always keep saying to you on the show as well, whether we do a show on the Friday night, whether it's Aberdeen or Hearts or St Mirren going to Parkhead, in this case it was Aberdeen last night. Aberdeen never sat back behind the ball, and I thought that made for a better game.
Aberdeen are a good team. They've just been through a bad spell at the moment, but as we'll get on to, I mean, I'm really excited with these top 4 teams at the moment, because there's only a few points in it, and then you look at Hearts on 36, you've got Hibs on 40, you've got Aberdeen on 40, Hibs on 40, Dundee United on 41. So it's just a great league to be involved in at the moment. Aberdeen are right up there.
Yeah, no. When I was speaking to you today, Regan, about the show tonight, what about Young's goal? Because again, I bet the Engels he's took a bit of stick in social media off the Celtic fans and other fans of other clubs as well. But he scored a goal last night. but the last few weeks he's been coming on to a game.
I think he really impressed me. He played well against Bayern. And I think he's somebody as well, Robbie, that Brendan Rodgers has really decided to trust as well. Because if you look at somebody like Palmer was the flavour of the month when he came in. But now Young's come in and he's done well. He scored, he's assisted in games. And I think he's really grown in confidence this season, Robbie.
Aye, I think Young's gained a lot of confidence. If you were to ask Hugh Keevins, I'm sure he'd disagree, but no, look, he's a good player. Do I think he's at the level of maybe, being in these European games when it matters? Probably not. No disrespect to him, he has good quality. I think he's very good in the league that he's in. I just don't think he's, I think that's why you rarely ever see him in these sort of European games, because maybe he's just not quite ready for that. And I'm not too sure what Yang's age is, but is he still relatively quite young?
Yeah, I think he's still 23, 24.
Yeah, I mean, that's plenty of room for him to, grow and develop as a player. So, I mean, look, Brendan Rodgers clearly trusts him and clearly sees something in him. That's why he keeps getting on these games. And he showed his worth again. I mean, he's got quality, and I'm sure over the years you'll probably see him developing, but become maybe a wee bit more important to Celtic.
Yeah, no, exactly. And one final word on this game, Reagan, before we move on to the obviously we've got Hibs and Hearts on Sunday, but we've got Mr. Graham and Robbie's derby tonight, and I wonder who won that one. Yeah, I can see Graham smiling there. By the way, he's not on camera yet because he's getting a lot of makeup done tonight as well. But what do you think of
You paying
Jota?
for makeup now? You paying for makeup now, Michael? I'm starting to get offended that I'm on this for free.
Nah, you don't need makeup, mate. It's fine. That's why you're not on camera tonight. Yeah. What do you think of Jota getting the goal? His first goal at home as well, and enjoying that moment.
Yeah, I mean, Jota really enjoyed himself, and I think he's really at home now at Celtic Park, Michael. He's enjoying being there. He's really rivaling, and I think Celtic suits him, Michael. He really enjoys the atmosphere. He really enjoys the club, and he really understands it, like Robbie said earlier with Barry Ferguson. He understands what a good place Glasgow is to play football. As much as people might say, oh, Scottish football, but we've got so much to offer here. I'm a big advocate for Scottish football. That's why I'm on here. That's why I enjoy it. And I feel like we've got so much to offer.
I thought you were good for the banter. I thought you were just here for the banter.
I'm here for the banter as well, but I hope you get me on for my positivity on Scottish football. But I think Jota's back at home, but I've got to say, Robbie, I've been surprised how good he's been so far, because I thought it might take Jota maybe a few weeks to get up to speed.
Aye, in a way, I agree. I'm not surprised, to be honest. I mean, look, Jota was, I try and be as unbiased as possible, like, when I'm watching other teams, and I think, watching Jota, but, a few years ago when his first spell at Celtic, it was an absolute honour to be able to watch him. The same with Kyogo, he's away to France now. You're going to miss watching a player like that, but see when he's not playing your team, you love watching these type of players, especially when, the likes of Simon don't have that type of quality exactly. It's always refreshing to watch these type of players, and I think Jota's another one. Coming back in, I knew the quality he possessed for, the first time he was at Celtic. I do agree in the sense that, Jota's not played very much after he left. That's maybe why a lot of fans felt it would take a while for him to catch up, just start lack of game time, but he's come back into the league like nothing's ever changed. He's back to scoring goals, getting assists. He's causing teams problems, and it's good to see. He's a really good player. He seems like a nice guy as well. So it's always good to see a player like that do really well.
There we go. So that was business as usual for Celtic, but not. And I know that you were saying, Reagan, and I totally agree with you. It's Celtic won 5-1, but they weren't at. I don't think they get a second gear in the game. 3 points for Celtic and move on. We'll be moving on because we have Mr. Is your makeup on? We'll find it soon. Graham against Robbie, and I think it's time for me and Reagan just to go away and put my feet up and make a cup of tea. So who's smiling tonight, Graham?
Oh, yes. The sense of a good team is one that doesn't play well and still wins, and I will take that all day long. I thought, for a team looking at going to the top 6 with a win, I thought we were pretty poor most of that game, to be honest. I thought first half we were really flat, didn't really create anything. We were struggling with the long ball that St Mirren played. They had that massive threat up front with Mandron and Ayunga. We couldn't get a foot on the ball at all. The goal, slightly fortunate. It's a good ball in. It's blocked by Steinwender, but it's a good finish from Mandron. And I was surprised that we didn't make any changes at half-time because I thought we needed something a bit different. Khartoum didn't really do a lot. Nunehoff wasn't really involved in the game. And then the game obviously changes second half with those 2 very quick goals. I mean, the first goal is a horrendous mistake from Richard Taylor. Takes a really poor touch. Wilson scores. But the second goal is brilliant from Nunehoff. Fantastic finish. And I think, Robbie might disagree with me here, but I think St Mirren should have been at 10 men. I thought the challenge from Killian Phillips was a really, really poor one. He got the red card initially, and I thought the ref got that right. He then goes to VAR. It takes about half an hour to decide, and I think he bottled it. For me, it's a dangerous challenge. It's a red card, I think, but it doesn't get given. And I thought we really struggled a bit in the kind of, towards the end of the game, St Mirren put a lot of balls in the box that we kind of were struggling a little bit to deal with. And then obviously Vargas wraps that up, but it wasn't a great performance. But we're in the top 6 going at the derby, so I'll take that all day long.
Before we go on to speak about St Mirren, and I'm sure Robbie didn't want to speak about St Mirren tonight. I'm sure he still wants to speak about Saturday's game at Ibrox. But what's the feeling in the Hearts camp right now, Graham, going into the game? Because obviously, like we spoke about a few weeks ago, that everybody was. Some people in the Hearts camp wanted Neil Clitsy out, etc. But you're going into the derby game, albeit away from home, but in good form.
Yeah, and it's just frustrating we didn't manage to beat Rangers, because if we had, we'd have been going there in a lot far better position we are just now. But there's a lot more positivity. You know, you could see in the touchline that Critchley wasn't happy with that first half, and nobody was. We just weren't doing enough. We weren't composed enough on the ball. We weren't creating enough chances. But we know we've got a threat going forward. And obviously we managed to get the 3 goals in the second half. But there's a lot more positivity. I said when he came in, I wasn't a massive fan of Critchley. I thought it's a poor appointment. But he certainly turned around. And I think most Hearts fans are now firmly on his side. Like I said, the sign of a good team is winning when you're not playing well. And I think that showed tonight, because I generally don't think Hearts played that well all game. But we've ended up with 3 points. It's a massive, massive 3 points going at the derby. And also, which is going to sound slightly bizarre, but also because the way this league is and how tight it is, we're also now managed to get ourselves away from that bottom of the table, which is a massive relief. We're now looking towards that top 6. It's going to be difficult. You know, Hibs getting that win today, what a run they're on. This could potentially be one of the more exciting derbies. As long as Hearts win, I don't care. But going into it, we're in a far, far better place than we were probably about a month or 2 ago.
Robbie, what's your views on the game? Have you come back to earth? Well, obviously you've come back to earth tonight, but on Saturday you're in cloud 9. But it's always, we always speak about if you beat the big 2 in Scotland, as they say, Celtic or Rangers, it's how you compete in the next game. And I think you I'm sorry to say, but you failed that tonight, because after a brilliant performance on Saturday, going away to Ibrox, and Tynecastle is always going to be difficult, but it's quite important to back that one up tonight. And I think maybe you failed in that department. I mean, I never saw any of the games, so Robert can tell us from a St Mirren point of view what went wrong tonight.
Michael, that's the story of our season. We put in the big performances against the big teams that we don't expect to beat, and then we go to play guys like St Johnstone, and I'm not saying Hearts on the level of St Johnstone. I think it was always going to be a tough game, but we then try and follow that up with a game against Hearts, where Hearts have picked up form, but we should be looking to go and get the points out of these games, and yet we've turned up and we've been really flat again. Graham, I'll get this out the way now. With the penalty call, right, all I would say is I think Phillips goes in very harsh. I don't think he should go in the way he does. What I'd argue is if you look at the game on Saturday at Ibrox with the decision by Igaman on O'Hara, what I would say is, there's a clear difference between the two of them. One's been given as a yellow card and one's not. I think if Phillips' elbow maybe hit the Hearts player, I think it was Neuenhoff, I can't quite remember. I think it would have been a red, but I don't think there was enough contact there for me to say that was a red card. But wow, Richard Taylor, Graham, for watching that game, what a terrible 5 minutes this guy had. Wow, I think, Graham, one thing I think you'd agree on, if you watch that game and you watch any other St. games, how high does Richard Taylor tend to go when he's got the ball? He gets the ball and he's sprinting like he's a midfielder. He's sprinting like he's killing Phillips in the midfield. I cannot believe it. It's a few times this season he's been caught out by that. He gets caught out twice again. The first one, look, it's a bit unlucky for Taylor, tries to clear the ball, it doesn't quite work. The second one, but I don't know where he's gone. He picks up the ball, tries to go forward, takes a really bad touch, and then he dives in like there's no tomorrow, and it just completely opens our defence up. It's mistakes like that is the reason why we're not going to be top 6 this season. And it's a shame because we had the game in our grasp after that first half. I think every Hearts fan went into half time going, how are we know out of this game? Because the amount of chances we had through Mandron and Ayunga, who, again, I thought they were both superb. I actually thought Olasanya might have started this one, but Robinson went with the same team. I thought they were superb. I thought Declan John and Alibioso, they were superb in the flanks as well. I thought they caused Taylor and Penrice a lot of problems. I thought the first half we were outstanding. Again, we just cannot take our chances. It's so frustrating to watch weekly. I thought in a game where, Graham, if you look at the game at Paisley in the Cup, you look at, McCart and Steinwinder, they dealt with Olasanya relatively well. They knew what was going to be coming to them. They were direct. We were direct towards them. And it did cause them a bit of problems, but they dealt with it relatively well. See the first half in that game, I don't think the Hearts defence knew what hit them. I thought Steinwinder and Bacart were all over the place for that especially that first half an hour. But again, we never managed to take our chances. Hearts do in the second half. Got to say that third goal, I think it was Vargas, a really, really well worked goal. But at the end of the day, if you don't take your chances, Hearts deserve the 3 points in the end.
There you go, Graham. The floor is yours, mate.
Yeah, as I said, I didn't think we played well first half. I was expecting better. I was expecting us to be on the front foot with a chance to go to the top 6. And I don't think we did that. We created very little. Probably one of Kabangu's quietest games so far. Don't think he really offered that much, but it wasn't just him. I thought actually our best player first half was Shankland. He was linking the play up really well. He looked far, far better than he's looked for weeks. But it's just one of these things that we just needed to get 3 points. That was all that mattered. We needed a big reaction second half. We did get it. The second goal is a great finish from Neuenhoff, but as Robbie says there, I don't know what Richard Taylor's doing. The first goal was bad enough, but the second goal, geez, he got sent for a Mars bar, I think, by Neuenhoff about 3 times. But I'm just glad to get 3 points going out of that Derby game. I was gutted that Hibs managed to get that win at United because that would have put us even closer. But yeah, the main thing is we got 3 points. It's a big, big win. I didn't think we actually created a lot. We managed to score 3 goals, so I'm delighted with that. But I genuinely think the referee bottled it. It's a red card for me. It's dangerous play. It's high. I know it's not an elbow, but he goes in kind of with his. He basically catches McCart on the jaw. It's high. He's not looking at the ball. I think I send it off, but it doesn't matter. We're in the game. It doesn't matter. As I said, that no matter what, I think it's a poor challenge, and I think it's a red card. I'm intrigued to see what the refs you guys think, but main thing is 3 points, and Sunday is now. Every derby is massive, but if we can go there and win, and we've not beat Hibs yet this season, that would be huge. They're on a really good run, but again, we say it all the time about derby games. They are really difficult to predict.
Graham, what I would say on the red card is, see, when I looked at the one at Ibrox for Saturday, I thought the referee bottled it, sticking to the decision. I actually thought the referee shouldn't have overturned it. Looking at that one, again, I'm surprised the referee didn't keep the decision the same. I'm actually really surprised that Phillips, see when the initial red came out, I'm really surprised they then overturned it. I thought it was one of them where the referee's going to stick with his decision here. Like, I thought he was going to do at Ibrox. That got overturned as well, and so did the one today. I think they're both, if you look at both of them, I think they're both as equally dangerous as each other. So I think there's arguments that both of them probably shouldn't have been a red card. But look, again, you said it doesn't matter, but I want to ask you again quickly just on Sander Carton, because it was a player that obviously I seen for SK Brann when they played us in the Conference League, and it was a player that I particularly picked out that absolutely run us off the park in that game. I actually thought it was relatively poor in this game. I know it can take a while to sort of, bed into the league and whatever, but that's probably as poor as I've seen him, and I did get to watch him for 2 legs, and obviously a few games for Hearts, but I thought Carton was going to be maybe a dangerous player than he actually turned out to be.
Yeah, his first couple of games he came off the bench, I thought actually played quite well, and I saw something about him. Came off the bench against St Johnstone, I thought he was quite poor. I was looking forward to him start today, but it wasn't just him. I thought everyone was quite quiet, but then the second half, he had a couple of really good runs, and he actually makes the second goal. It's his burst from midfield that makes that second goal. So he did start to come on a game, and then we took him off. But there's definitely a player in there. You can see his ability. He's good on the ball. He's composed. He just didn't have one of his best games. But I think over time he will improve. I think on the kind of Igimani and stuff, the thing that really frustrates me about both decisions is, I keep on saying this all the time about the referees and officials, they're only meant to get involved for clear and obvious errors. I don't think either of the decisions today or on Sunday for the St Mirren Rangers game were clear and obvious. I thought at the time they were the right decisions, and I think the refs bottled both of them. What really frustrates me even more today is how long it took to make that decision. He went to the monitor, he must have looked at it about 20 times and still couldn't decide what the decision was, and then he went, actually, I'll just give it a yellow card. It was pretty clear and obvious to me it was a sending off. But listen, as I say, it doesn't matter now because the game's done. But I think if anyone watches that again, you will see it's dangerous. It just about knocks McCart out. But I agree. I think the decision on Sunday as well is a red card. And I think the referee on both occasions has bottled it.
Yeah, I mean, just quickly, I was just going to mention that point about the referees. This was a really weird one for not just for you, but for the referee. I mean, you look at the third goal. How long did that take to check that as well? I cannot. It was a really weird game. I thought the referees were really slow to react to anything that happened during the game.
I mean, I keep hearing folks saying that they would scrap VAR, and I've said it before. I do get it. I do understand it. But the technology's fine. It's the way they're using it is wrong. And I think when you have to go and look at that, I mean, you saw it on the screen. You saw it a couple of times and thought, that's a really bad challenge. He looked at that, honestly, no kidding, about 20 times and decided, actually, no, it's a yellow card. I don't think, for me, the guy on VAR should have called him over at the monitor anyway. For me, that's a straight red card. And I'm going to be really intrigued to see what the guys on the rest view and what Willie Collins says when he does his show. Because I think he will probably say it's a red card. And then they took Killian Phillips off straight after it.
Robbie, I was just going to say, I know Graham touched upon the derby on Sunday, and by the way, I'm looking forward to another game on Sky, brilliant, for the Edinburgh. I think that's a second derby. It's been on for ages on Sky, so I'm looking forward to that. But Robbie, you've got a big game on Saturday night at 5:30. It's a weird time, but I think it's because FA Cup is on. They're using Scottish football. Anyway, so I'll move on from that. 5:30 on Saturday night on Sky. Another big game against Celtic. How do you fancy your chances?
Don't remind me we're playing Celtic, please. I don't even want to take them on, honestly. I think, I look at Robinson's game plan and, I'm never going to doubt what Robinson's brought to the table and stuff, but see when we go to play the likes of Celtic, and it's only Celtic it seems to be in particular, in my opinion, they just know now how to beat us. It's every time we try the same game tactic and Celtic just floor us off the park. The last time it took Callum McGregor about 3 minutes and they put one in the back of the net. we cannot be that lenient against Celtic again. We need to go out and get in their faces. This is what they don't like. You only need to watch the Hibs game to know that if you get in Celtic's faces, you can cause some problem. But it's just going to be the same game plan every time. It's going to be us sitting back straight after that, waiting on Celtic coming at us and trying to ride the luck for the first 20 minutes. I like to imagine it's going to be different this time. I don't think it will be. If I was a betting man, put it this way, I wouldn't be putting someone on to win this game. But look, we just beat Rangers at Ibrox. We've just made history for the first time since 1991. We need to show a bit of positivity, and it is positive around the club right now. You know, as much as I'm on here being negative after that loss, there is a lot of positive stuff going on in the club right now.
I'm just going to ask you, Robbie. Stephen Robinson said on Saturday that a big advantage for your team is going to be the pitch that is not in the best condition. Could that play into your hands, possibly?
100%. I was actually the pitch. I mean, you only need to look at the Hibs game to realise how bad that pitch was. I don't know if any of you watched on the telly, but that's probably the worst it's been in quite a while at St Park. We are relatively good for a pitch, but that was really bad. And I think it can play into their hands, Reagan. You know, you look at the direct play that Stephen Robinson has. If we can pick Celtic off and, you know, that pitch plays a horrible impact on Celtic's defence, we can get at them. I think this game's tailor suited to the likes of Mandron and Ayunga. I think that's what you're probably more than likely to see on this game. But I think the pitch will play a massive impact.
Can't be worse than St Johnstone's pitch.
Oh, I know.
Well, that was a nightmare on Sunday. Good advert from Messi Football Parks. We'll come on to that game in a minute. A big win for St John's tonight. And by the way, you've heard it here first, and I'll show you the bit of paper if you don't believe me, guys. But see the predictions at the beginning of the season. I fancy Ross County could go down, and that could still happen. Maybe after Saturday. Because what is it? The 6 points in it now, the bottom of the table. That game should be on TV as well. But anyway, I'm just being a bit picky now as well. So that's the Hearts and St Mirren game. Hearts 3, St Mirren 1. Just done that for Robbie's benefit there, actually. Moving on to Dundee United against Hibs. Dundee United 1, Hibs 3. And I think Graham will be better placed to answer this one, apart from us guys. But when was the last time that Hearts and Hibs were kind of in the bottom 6? Because I'm still convinced that they'll finish in the top half, Graham. When was the last time? Can you remember if there was a time that they started in the bottom 6 and ended up in the top half?
Well, we're both in the top 6 just now, but I can't remember the last time we finished in the bottom 6. It's been a while, but I mean, this has got the potential to be a really, really exciting game on Sunday. I'll probably just jinx it and it'll be a 0-0 draw. But yeah, it's been a while. I mean, I hate doing it, but you have to give credit to Hibs for running their own. What a job David Gray's doing, unfortunately for me. But yeah, that was a big, big win today.
Especially away from home as well. I don't think we'll see Mikey again this season, Reagan, because he was away up at the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see Mikey's going to the games and enjoying it because Sir David Gray, as he calls them, I mean, they're doing really well at the moment. I was really impressed with them on Saturday against Celtic. Josh scored the 2 goals, but yeah, they got off to a great start on Saturday. But then he got off to a good start tonight, Graham, and that's a big win for them because to go behind against a really informed Dundee United and then to come back and respond like that is really good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Tannadice is not an easy place to go. We all know that. It's a difficult place to go. And to go 1-0 down and then come back and obviously win the game with 2 late goals is a huge, huge boost for them, especially going into a derby on Sunday. Obviously, I've not seen the game because I was watching the Hearts game, but by all accounts, I think they probably did deserve it. You know, to score 2 late goals just shows that, a bit like Hearts, Hibs are going on till the end. So it's a big win for Hibs. Sadly, going into Sunday, I would have loved them to drop points that they go into that game, but that's football for you, unfortunately.
No, it's a big win for Hibs, especially away from home. What about Dundee United, Robbie? I know it's your your favourite person at the helm, Jim Goodwin, but I mean, they'll be disappointed, especially tonight getting beat, but they've had an okay season up till now.
There's nothing more I love than Jim Goodwin losing a game of football. Oh, how I was delighted. Sorry, Graham, but I was delighted for Hibs to get the 3 points here. I really wanted him to lose. I don't like Dundee United being in third and all that nonsense. Jim Goodwin is not a third place manager, I'm sorry, but he's no. But look, listen, it is a good Dundee United team, to give them credit. Obviously, they've lost the game tonight, but they've lost against a Hibs team that you'd argue is probably unstoppable right now. I mean, if they're beating Celtic in a game where, you know, Celtic are just off a really good performance, who's going to stop Hibs? Honestly, I could not answer that one. But I think, you know, just judging after this game, I actually thought, I think Dundee United get a goal chopped off to go 2-1 up. So maybe they'll feel a wee bit hard done by in that one. But another great win for Hibs. I mean, the wins keep on coming. This is prime example, again, a manager thing. This is what can happen when you let him build his ideas. David Gray, what a manager he's been. He'll probably own for manager of the year come the end of the season. He'll definitely be in contention for it, depending on where Hibs finish. I mean, again, sorry to Graham if he's still watching, but I back Hibs to maybe finish 4th or 3rd this season.
Have you ever heard of the phrase Robbie and Regan Park team fans, and they only turn up when their team wins, and then they go away because they're up early for work the next day?
Mike, I know that first time being a Sunderland fan, don't worry.
And that's Mr. Duffy. I was trying to be nice to you, Robbie, but there you go. But you are from Paisley at the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Listen,
you know,
I remember the seasons in the championships with the 3,000 attendance. I know all about the part-time fans.
So yeah, I mean, obviously we never saw any of the game, Regan, but I think Jake Hibs not scored a goal in injury time as well. I was 2-1.
Yeah, it was
2-1 at the time. So
yeah, they scored it and added on time. There was 10 added minutes in the game. I watched a wee bit of it. But I mean, in terms of Dundee United, Michael, they've had a great season so far. The fans can't really grumble too much because they're still sitting between 3rd and 4th in the table. And if you said to any Dundee United fan at the start of the season, it's nearly the beginning of March and you'd be sitting 3rd in the table, they would have took that all day long. I think in terms of him, like Robbie said, I think for David Gray, this could be the biggest hero to zero moment in known to man because he was tipped by every broadcaster, every radio station in the land to get sacked. There was a statement coming out from the board, Robbie, in January, backing him and going into the January window. There was statements coming out about the Hibs possibly recruiting a brand new number one goalkeeper. So I think David Gray's turned around a lot of things. But as Josh said on Saturday, there's I don't think they were playing that bad. I think in general it was just now they're just beginning to defend the ball better.
Aye. First of all, David Gray, what a turnaround it's been. I can't remember whether it might actually been Tannadice early in the season. I can't quite remember for Park or something like that, where they were 1-0 up right until the death, and then somebody nicked 2 late goals and beat them. You know, I think that really summed up Hibs' luck earlier in the season. You know, it was unlucky. I don't think they were necessarily playing really bad football, but they were getting really unlucky results. So it's turned around for David Gray now. You mentioned the goalkeeper there, Smith, has been really, really good. So far for Hibs, really kept him in a lot of games. I think you've seen that against Celtic. You've seen that against us as well a couple of weeks ago, you know, in a game where neither team scored. I thought Smith was fantastic, especially at Sebo Harris' shot. So I think David Gray's went in there and changed the things that needed to be changed. And now you're seeing the best sort of Hibs. I mean, this is a Hibs team that, you know, you're looking and going, why can they not be up in top 6 regularly, and why can they not be challenging for European football and stuff like that? Because they're more than capable enough, and they've got more than capable enough talent in there. So, full credit to what David Gray's done. And
I mean, don't forget, Regan, that they come to Rugby Park next weekend. buoyant. And OK Celtic would want to get their own back in them by getting to the semi-final. But I mean, Hibs were brilliant last week at Easter Road, but I think it's going to be a totally different game. And I think it's going to be a quite open game next week as well, because obviously they're not going to sit behind the ball. They're going to go for it because it's a cup game.
Yeah, I think Celtic will be totally respectful of their opponent. They'll know they have to their threats, such as Boyle, such as Koparevic, a lot of guys in the midfield as well. Joyce that I just spoke about scored 2 goals. So John Newell's coming back as well, Robbie. So I feel as if Hibs have got a really good team, and although like going to Celtic Park's a different kettle of fish than playing at Easter Road, because big stadium, Celtic will enjoy a big crowd there. 60,000 will be there. It's different for Easter Road, but I'm sure if Hibs go down there and get their win, they'll be certainly singing Sunshine on Leaf. And I'm telling you, David Gray's done a very good job this season. You know, people like to be judgmental, but I think that's probably down to social media as well, because I think if you've a few bad games, Robbie will tell you, I'm sure there's been times where Stephen Robinson's been under pressure from social media fans, but it's all about trying to block out that noise, as they say. I don't know it's difficult these days, but I think David Gray's proved to anyone that's doubted him wrong, because he's got a tune of these players.
Listen, Stephen Robinson's still 1 game away for the Robinson out crew coming back out of the closet. I mean, it's every time we drop points up like that at this point. I just tend to ignore it these days. But you're right. It would have been so easy for Hibs at a point to sack David Gray when it wasn't going well and try and find somebody else. And look, Hibs have done that too much early years, since particularly since Jack Ross left. It's been managers left and right. I think they needed to just stick with somebody. They're stuck with somebody that, again, as we spoke about with Barry Ferguson, he knows the club. He knows how to get Hibs playing football, and he knows the passion of Edinburgh. So he is a guy that knows, and you're right. If they go to Celtic Park, there's no reason they can't get through in this cup tie. There's no... I get it, Celtic will fancy themselves in the bigger crowd, but I mean, look at the last time Hibs went to Celtic Park. I mean, they missed a good few chances, I'm sure I remember. But they could have went on and got something at the game, so there's no reason why they can't go and do it again.
That was a League Cup game early on this season, Robin, the Plymouth Sports Cup. Yeah. So there we go. Let's move on to a big win for Winner. Is that one of the headlines? Come on the paper, Reagan. Winner. Anyway, bad joke there.
Chicken dinner.
Yeah. KFC. Marvel 2, Dundee 1, Reagan. And a big win, as I say, for Michael Winner, but it's Dundee. It's a bag night at the office.
Definitely isn't it? It's a big bloody nose, Robbie, because as we'll get on to soon, St Johnstone can get the win as well, because Dundee, you know, as much as Tony Docherty was getting the plaudits this time last season, Robbie, I'm sure that Tony Docherty out campaign will be starting now on social media as we speak, because he's a very good manager, but as we say, you're only as good as your last game.
Aye, it's a Dundee team that lose a few decent players. You know, obviously, Luke McCowan to Celtic, and it all starts to go downhill. But I still look at that Dundee squad and I still see talent in there. I look at Simon Murray, who scored, and I think he is such a vital player at Dundee. You know, although he's not the best striker in the world, he's a nuisance to other teams. So Dundee have players in it that can cause problems. This season, I think, you know, at the start of the season, I sort of predicted the likes of ours and Dundee before half, mainly because I felt like other teams would get stronger. I think that's what's happened here. I think, you know, Dundee have come up, they've managed to get themselves, you know, battling in top 6. But every other club, you know, the likes of Hibs last season that were then bad Aberdeen, they've all got stronger and they've all actually come onto a game, and now you're starting to see, you know, the likes of us and Dundee sort of drop off a wee bit. It's only natural, but I mean, what a win for Reimer that is. He needed to get that one under his belt, especially in such a big game so early on in his reign. That, you know, I'm sure if you were asking any Motherwell fans, obviously I didn't get to see the game, but if you were asking any Motherwell fans, you probably, most of them would probably say that they've seen a huge difference in the style of play already. it probably looks a lot better than what Kettlewell was dishing up, which, no disrespect to Kettlewell, he had them in a very, very good place. Let's not forget where he left them. He left them in the top 5. It was really good, and it obviously had a lot of injuries, but you've now got Vima in. He's implemented his style of play. It's probably something new that Motherwell fans haven't seen in a long time, and that's them get a very, very big win.
And also, Robbie, I think that the point you make about the football style, it's a big thing these days with fans paying their money. Fans want to see enjoyable football. It's okay talking about, you can win games, but that's why people like Jose Mourinho are not fashionable managers. Although, Robbie, I did find it funny that I think Philippe Clement was a goner after he slagged Jose Mourinho on Friday in the press conference.
Who would ever in their right mind go after Jose Mourinho and his style of play? That is the man that has won just about anything. I mean, this is the guy, we're talking about the guy that's won the Champions League with FC Porto. And Philippe Clement's trying to talk about his style of play. I mean, you just need to watch Rangers this season. Wow, that made me chuckle a bit. But no, it is so important in today's game. And that is why Regan Robinson gets so many doubters still to this day. There is still St Mirren fans that doubt Stephen Robinson, although he's delivered as a best finish in 30 odd years. It's still not good enough to some fans because the style of play Robinson likes to play is so direct, and it's not pleasing to the eye, but it gets us challenging for top 6. And I'm sure Vima's playing a much more attracting style of play to Kettlewell, because Kettlewell was very much like Robinson. It was a very direct, slow style of play. Now Vima's got his stamp on it. It's probably a lot faster than Motherwell fans have been seeing for the last couple of years.
Yeah, it'll be interesting going on this Saturday because I think they play Rangers at Ibrox, and it'll be totally different to what they expected tonight, Michael. But I think Motherwell.
Of course, the last time they were there, Regan, I was about to say they beat Rangers.
Yeah, and they'll be expecting a difficult match. Obviously, I think it'll be a totally different game because Barry Ferguson homecoming has got all the makings, Robbie, as a Rangers win. But you can, I don't think you can discount the impact in Motherwell getting a new manager as well.
It actually was a very interesting game. I think, you're right, there's 2 new, fresh managers to Scottish football. Well, obviously Ferguson's been in the lower leagues, but new to this league. And they're both, got time now to stamp, their own system and tweaks on the team. So this is going to be an interesting match. I don't think if you asked any Rangers or Motherwell fan, they'd definitely be able to say if they're going to win this game or not. It's that type of game where Rangers fans, I feel, will have more expectation because there is a change in the managerial department. It already looks a lot better, and Barry Ferguson's only had a couple of days to work with the team. So I think Rangers fans will have more expectations, but never count out Motherwell. I mean, it's a brilliant win tonight for them.
Okay, the last game tonight, and I suppose, Regan, this was a 6-pointer at the bottom of the table. St Johnstone, a big win for them, 1-1 now at home against Ross County. And also, they've got another game on Saturday at home against Dundee. I don't know about you, but when you play these games at the bottom of the table, especially at this time of year, the home advantage must count as well. After kind of. And I mean, I thought they played well against Hearts and spells on Sunday, but obviously get beaten that game. But a big win tonight for them, and I text Alistair after the game. He must be still celebrating or running about on that park in the dark up in Perth at the moment. But it's a big win for the Saints.
Yeah, it's Michael, and I'm really happy for them because I like St Johnstone. I like listening to Alistair. I think he's really balanced his opinion, and I think it's also important, Robbie, to have teams at the bottom and challenging because you don't want to have a bit of a disjointed league. So I'm happy that St Johnstone have won. I'm happy that St Johnstone are in there with a chance, and obviously St Johnstone are playing Dundee on Saturday, so that's a kind of derby as well, Michael, because Alistair was telling me that's a kind of one that St Johnstone and Dundee fans enjoy as well.
Aye, I mean, if you were to ask Alistair before Valakari took reins, would St Johnstone be in the Premiership come next season, he probably would have laughed at you and told you to get out. But you look at it now, they're in a fight, they're bringing this back. It's a lot more positive, the style of play. We keep mentioning it, how different it looks to watch St Johnstone now. They actually have a go at teams. Unlucky against Hearts at the weekend. Obviously, we'll need to see how it was tonight, but they've managed to get the win tonight, and that's an important thing, because let's not forget, Ross County have been in a decent form, won the last 2 games, so Ross County would have had all the confidence there, but St Johnstone are just proving why the league is so close. I'm going to go as far as to say between third and Bolton, really. It's, although St Johnstone aren't going to exactly get third place, it's still a close-knit group in there, it's sort of a wee mini section, so it's really cool to see. This year, I think we're in, especially for this running, and then in the split, I think we're in for a really, really close sort of last few games in this league, and honestly, looking at that Bolton 4, County, Kilmarnock, Dundee and St Johnstone, any one of the teams could end up going down. At this point, it is that close.
I think for me, guys, if St Johnstone either get 3 points or point on Saturday, I think I'm not saying that they're safe by any amount of means, because football's a funny old game and stuff like that, but they've got a good chance, guys, to beat that playoff.
If they beat Dundee on Saturday, they've got a right chance, because the Dundee start to feel that pressure, Robbie, because they could beat 6-0 against Hearts, 6-0 against Celtic, beat again tonight, beat against Aberdeen. So as much.
By the way, I think I was just going to say, Regan, I think the only game they've won, am I right in saying the only game they've won in the past 2 weeks is early in the Cup?
Yeah, and that can have a bit of effect on them, because, as I'm just going to say there, you see, as much as winning can become a habit, so can losing. So I think Dundee and Tony Docherty, they'll be well aware now that they're no fighting for top 6, they're fighting to keep their status in the Premier League.
Aye, for Dundee, I mean, they're bottom of the league on form chart in the last 5 games, so that really paints a picture of where they're at now. Tony Docherty, he's not a silly guy. He'll know that the main objective here is try to stay up this season. Which, if you asked Dundee fans that a year ago, at this point they probably would have laughed at you and went, "How is that happening?" But it's just the way this crazy league works. I think Dundee, St Johnstone, that's the big game. If St Johnstone can win that, it is anybody's game finishing that sort of bottom 2. It really could be anybody. You're looking further up the league, depending on how the split works. You're looking at anybody within the top, the bottom 6 being sucked into a relegation battle. There's really not that much between the teams. So, although I'm slightly optimistic that St Mirren are going to be involved in that dogfight, we just as easily could if we lose our next couple of games. And there is some big games. I know we travel away to Dundee. I know we play Kilmarnock. So there's some big games in there. We play Ross County as well in the final game of the season, so before the split. So some really, really big games.
There we go. So that is your midweek edition of the Locker Room. It's been a very, very show, guys. And we will do it all again on Friday, building up to the weekend's games. But also we've got a small matter of the Edinburgh Derby as well. Back on Sunday as well, looking back at the games, and also no rest for the wicked. Robbie will be back next Thursday after the Rangers game in the Europa League. So thanks to Regan, thanks to Robbie, and thanks to
I'm looking forward to you talking to Barry Anderson tomorrow as well for the show on Friday. So that should be a great show coming up on Friday as well, eh?
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, thanks for plugging the show and play. Yeah, so Barry Anderson, I'll be speaking to him tomorrow to preview the game on Sunday between Hibs and Hearts at Easter Road. Thanks to Robbie, thanks to Regan, thanks to Graham, thanks to everyone. Thanks to all your comments as well. And we will do it all again on Friday live at 5 o'clock.
The Locker Room, all the sports news you need. Live